Jeff, it's great to have you back on. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
You know, you have been somebody that actually have campaigned aggressively for Prop 36. You're a district attorney, and you've helped writing this, right? This proposition.
It's true. I was one of the principal architects.
Now Prop 36 has passed, and Californians have been somewhat frustrated with thefts, you know, especially in areas like San Francisco, LA. Are things changing because this proposition passed?
They are changing, and the good news is Prop 36 has only been in effect now since December 18th. That's when it kicked into law, and we're seeing a change, and we're hearing about a change. First, law enforcement across California has been very excited about having these new tools to go after the repeat thieves, and we're hearing directly from the law enforcement officers. They feel emboldened again, empowered. They're responding to calls that maybe they wouldn't used to respond to because now there's the real potential for accountability. So that's one thing. And then we're also hearing from the retailers themselves, the big box stores, the mom and pop shop. They're seeing a difference. They're seeing a decrease in the day-to-day theft that used to be out of control prior to Prop 36. Because if you remember, prior to Prop 36, somebody could come in and steal every day, 10 times a day, every day of the week, and as long as it was under $950, it was a ticket. So you literally had people that were doing this all the time. That has dried up in a lot of places, is what we're hearing from the retailers. Now we're waiting to see the official data to prove that to be true, but anecdotally we're hearing these stories. And then the last part of it is we're actually hearing from some of the criminals themselves. There's been viral videos, including some out of Southern California, where people are getting caught and they're actually being put in handcuffs and in the back of the car, and they're realizing then that stealing is now a felony if you have 2 or more prior convictions. And those viral messages are spreading, and the deterrent effect is actually sinking in.
And you mentioned you're hearing anecdotally from people. Can you tell us the stories?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing it as one of the principal architects of Prop 36 and also been involved in the campaign from day one. I'm checking in from tip to tip in California, from San Diego to Northern California, and retailers are definitely seeing a change. It's not perfect. There's still work to be done, but what they're saying is that the day-to-day theft that they used to experience prior to Prop 36 has decreased. The repeat thieves that used to frankly terrorize some retailers have disappeared. Now, part of the reason for that is because Prop 36 has actually resulted in over 3,000 felony charges since it went into effect. And those people, many of those people are now in jail or prison, where they need to be, because these were repeat thieves who previously were just getting a ticket and walking away laughing after they committed the theft. Not anymore. Those people are being arrested, prosecuted for felonies, and many are going to jail. An interesting point on that is that when we look at the data for those 3,000 felonies since Prop 36 went into effect, we saw that 80% of the people who were being charged actually already had prior convictions for felonies. 25% had prior convictions for violent felonies. So these are serious criminals, the people that were committing these crimes. We think that what we're seeing right now in the early stages is a reduction in the theft because of the deterrent effect, and also many of these repeat thieves are being held accountable, finally, and going to prison or jail.
Do the retailers, do they know exactly how much do they lose by theft every month?
It depends from retailer to retailer. The bigger box stores, the Walmarts, the Targets, the Home Depots are much better.
They have better systems.
Yeah, better systems and better accounting for those types of losses. They certainly will be able to tell us at the end of the year how the data looks after Prop 36 versus before. So we're very interested in working with them to follow those trends. It's a little bit tougher for some of the mom and pop shops, is what we've experienced. But we will collect all that data, and we will be putting it out publicly through the California District Attorneys Association, which I'm a member of, and also the media. We'll make sure the media gets it.
Now, based on the anecdotal examples you're hearing, is people saying less people are coming to steal from us? Is that they see less incidents?
For sure. Yeah, they're seeing some of the faces that used to frequently pop up for some of these stores. We call them repeat offenders, recidivists, people that were just coming in every day. What we're hearing anecdotally is those numbers have dropped off dramatically. That's not happening anymore. And it happens, but not at the level that we were seeing before, where every day you would turn on the news and see another story of somebody going in and loading up a bag full of goods and walking out the door, right? Those incidents are down dramatically, and we're hearing that across the state.
And what about the police?
Before Prop 36, if you stole any amount under $950, it was a misdemeanor. And police weren't even allowed to arrest somebody for that crime unless they personally witnessed the theft, like the officer had to be there to view it, or that somebody in the store made a citizen's arrest of that individual. And that simply didn't happen. It was very rare that an officer was around to view it, and it was also rare for somebody to make a citizen's arrest. And even if they did make a citizen's arrest, the most the officer could do is give them a ticket, which is said, come to court at a future date, and the person would walk. So that was the fundamental problem with the law before. It was toothless, it was weak, there was no real accountability, and the officers were frustrated because even if they did respond to a call, a 911 call for a theft, very little could be done, and almost nothing ever happened to hold these people accountable. And that was frustrating for clearly the business owner, but also frustrating for the officers. That's changed because now, as a result of Prop 36, if the person has prior convictions, they can be arrested for a felony, regardless of the fact that the officer didn't view the theft in person, and it doesn't need a citizen's arrest.
So they can go and investigate it? Is that how it works?
Exactly.
Like for each theft case, they can go and follow up, and because before they couldn't investigate, or if the arrest hadn't been done, they couldn't.
Yeah, when it was just a misdemeanor, again, the officers either had to view it personally, they had to view the theft, or somebody would have to make what's called the citizen's arrest, which is basically say, I saw the theft and I'd like you to arrest this person for this crime. It was broken law, broken system. Now, because of Prop 36, the officers can investigate call it a cold theft, and then make a felony arrest if the person has priors. And that's a powerful tool. And in many of these cases, what we're seeing is the officers, they will respond to the calls now because the stakes have been raised for the penalties. These are felony responses now in many cases because of the people have prior convictions. If they're known to the officers, if they're known to the business owner, and that information is transmitted during the 911 call, you're going to get a felony response, and that person's going to go to jail. They're actually going to get arrested, put in the back of the car, and taken to jail, booked, and hopefully held until they see a judge.